Hello everyone, welcome to the last video of this series. For the extras video you voted for me to go into detail for every card, so I shall do just that. I don't have much else to say since if I don't start this video it will be like 20 minutes long, so let's get started right away. First up are the cards that don't fit into the other rarities, which are tokens or superpowers. Or well, this would have been a section, but I couldn't really come up with anything for tokens. Like, my only idea was to fix the beanstalk glitch, where it is not copied by imitator, but that's more of a bug fix than a balance change, so whatever. As for superpowers, yeah, some of them are better than other ones, but I think they're balanced well enough to not really need any changes, so it is what it is. Next section. First up is Sting. I said before to make this 2-2 bullseye, but honestly, like some of you pointed out, that might be too much, especially for a common, so instead I propose to give this +1 HP, so it would be like a weaker cactus that you can play on the water. Not like cactus is great or anything. Bruh. Next up is Cabbage Bolt. My idea was to make this get +2 attack when played in heights instead of +1/+1, so it would be a 3/3 when played in heights, but I want 3 otherwise. So yeah, same problem as Sting for this one, except for this one I'd say I have no better change for it, so I guess no change for this one. RIP. Repeater. So for this one I just said to give it +1 attack, but honestly that might be too much with no other change, so I also propose to reduce its HP to 1. So basically a 3-1. Drum Major. For this one I like my original idea, but the +1 brain I proposed was probably not good enough. So instead I say to make him a 4-3, but give him +2 brains. This way you get more brains, but slightly worse stats. Airship. This is another case of the card not really needing the buff, so nothing much else to add. Shroom. My original idea for this one was simple, but honestly I like Beer's idea to make it a 0 cost 1/1. So like a puff shroom, except you can play it in the water. It could be useful in some weird Speedo Swarm deck, as opposed to it being kinda useless right now. Blueberry. My original idea was just to give it +1 HP, but that's kinda boring, so instead I think it should deal 3 damage when played in exchange for making a 3-1. It might unironically make it a decent option in a lot of decks. Peapod. Another case of a card not really needing the change, so that's about it, no change. Surfer Zombie, same thing, doesn't really need the nerf I proposed, so that's it. Copter Commando. My previous change was just to give it amphibious, but that's out of class. Plus, for some reason, some of you seem to think that the best buff we could give this card is to remove it, and honestly, screw it, goodbye crappy Commando. Yet again, Beer giving me a great idea. So for this one I plan to incorporate the change I thought for Conehead originally, but didn't apply it because I thought it would be too good, which is Armor 2 in exchange for a stat nerf, which I'd say would be a 3/3 with Armor 2. Zombie. Yeah, for this one honestly I didn't realize I was kind of making a silver bullet, so instead just make this one a 5 cost 5, I guess. Hot Dog Imp. I said to make it a 3-1, but not really needed, that's all. Next. Prickly Pear. The previous change didn't really fix the card, so I think this needs a general overhaul, and here I like Snuffletoes Penguin's idea to make it a 2 cost 0/3 that deals 3 damage when hurt, so kinda like a pricier Potato Mine that deals a bit more damage and can trigger multiple times. Bamboozle. For this one I want to keep my previous change, but like Beer said, make it draw a card, even if you don't evolve it. So just a simple change to make it fit more for how expensive it is. Lilipad. For this one I also want to keep my previous change, but also give it team up, just a little extra thing. Lost Colosseum. I got a better idea thanks to what Beer wrote yet again. Instead of making it cost 1 less, it should make the effect a zombie here gets +1/+1, Frenzy, Armor 1, and Untrickable. This way the buff would be worse, but it would give a lot of useful effects, plus this way we get a card that can give Armor and Untrickable. Knight. A Galvantula came clutch with the idea to make it have the ability of costing -2 while in your hand. Fantastic idea. This way we avoid nerfing Knight Leap, and we also create new Leap synergies since you'd be able to play it as a 5 cost, but would be able to leap it into an 8 cost. 10 out of 10 idea all around. If I could heart your comment twice, I would. Juggernaut. For this one, it's just another case of it not really needing the buff, it just being worse than other cards in comparison, but with Triceratops nerf I propose in the Legendaries video, maybe it won't matter as much. Tipsy Garg. I really like Sage Knot's idea here, making it turn a ground lane to a water lane. Personally, I would do this by creating a new token card that would just be a 1-cost environment with the ability this environment is considered a water lane. I think it would be fair, plus it would create some cool amphibious synergy. Still, to balance it a bit more, I'd make the card itself, like the Deep Sea Guard itself, a 5-cost 5/6. Disconnot. I said to make this give its effect to zombies with 3 or less again, but in retrospect it's honestly too strong. Anyways, here I'd probably go for Snuffle Penguin's idea and just turn it into a 1/4. Zombot 1000. So I like insert funny things here idea. Zombot does deserve double digits, so wannabe hero. Instead of my idea, which to be honest may have been too good, I got an idea from Snuffle Penguin's suggestion, which is to make it give you 2 random superpowers that cost 1 less. This change is obviously less strong than the one I mentioned before, but depending on what you get, it could be really good. Forget-me-nots, just another case of my proposed change not being that good or useful. It is what it is. Paris, yet again here I like Snuffle Penguin's idea to make it nerf zombies that come out of gravestones by 1 attack. Just a simple change that might make it better. Fruitcake, some of you noted that dealing 7 damage is like that to deal with some plants that have that amount of HP exactly and would be hard to deal with otherwise. Because of this I think we can just apply the same idea I proposed for Pumpkin but make it harsher, like reducing the cost of the fruit created by 2 or maybe even 3. Okay, we're finally done with that now. Let's move on to the cards that I missed. First up, Priest in the Pair. This card is not terrible, but also not good, and honestly at this point I say we just kill it like we did with Copter, so goodbye crappy pair. Pair of Pairs. Honestly no clue how I missed this plan, like it costs 4 times the amount of Shroom for 2 in exchange for +2/+2, +1/+1 each, and even then they're still worse because they are not even a mushroom, so no synergy there. Not to mention that it's a worse Velociraptor since that grows and costs 1 less, although for that one I guess it's to be expected since it's a legendary. Anyways, personally I think this should just cost 3 and maybe nerf the stats of both pairs to 1. It would probably still be worse than Shroom for 2 and Velociraptor, but maybe not. Purple. For this one, first of all, the change of Pair of Pairs affects this too, so that first, so a 2/1. And then I'd say make it a 1-cost. It will probably still not be amazing, but an amphibious 1-cost to 1 would be alright. Half Banana, shout out to Tempin Beers yet again for this one. Simply change the effect to give all bananas in your deck +1 attack. I also didn't mention it in the ones I changed my mind on since it wasn't relevant until I mentioned this one. But yeah, this would also apply to the change I proposed to Banana Split. Snorkel Zombie, forgot to mention this one before, but also honestly who cares about Snorkel, just give it +1 HP and get it out of here. Pirate's Booty, yeah, I don't know how I missed this one either. Anyways, had a cool idea for this one. Make it a 12 cost with the effect to cost 2 less for each zombie on the field. This way it rewards you even more for actually having stuff on the field, with the best case scenario being a 2 cost that draws you 5 cards. Although most of the time it would just be a 4 cost that draws you 4 cards, which is still nice, or a 6 cost that draws 3. Cone Zone, yet another card that I don't know how I missed. This card is basically just a worse hunting ground since cards played on that at least give the stats. So I think this should just do that, but maybe nerf the amount, so make it give +2 HP to any zombie played here. Whipbine, stats with an effect. Honestly, it shouldn't even be a stat plant. Maybe make it a 3 cost 3/3 and change the effect to move anything. Maybe even itself. It could be alright. Chili Pepper. I think this one has a good effect but pretty low stats. I think it could be a 2/3, so +2 HP.
That was easy.
Cruel Herder. Yeah, for this one I'm just using Tempin Beer's idea again and making it so it reduces the attack of a selected plant by 1 if there are no nuts or berries. Could be good, like a weaker landscaper, and it would no longer be a silver bullet. Vitamin C. My idea for this one is to make it only buff +3/+2, but also give the zombie friends. Kind of like a mini maniacal laugh. Maybe +3/+2 would be too good, so maybe +2/+2 instead. Not sure about this one. Wizard Guard, yet again Tempin Beer pointed out that this should have the same change I proposed for Smashing Garg, So yeah, that. Cosmic Imp, yeah, I totally didn't forget about this card existing. Anyways, just make it a 2-1 I guess. Space Pirate, mostly adding this one because I feel like I would be attacked by a certain someone if I didn't. Anyways, personally I'd make it a 2-3 with Antihero 3. Potted Powerhouse, at first glance this card feels just like a bulk put for the plants, but it just kinda isn't that. I think I would nerf it into a 6 cost 1-1, but make it do a bonus attack when played. Might be too good, but honestly this needs something even if not what I propose. Laser Beam, just a bit stick with Strike Through. This card is outclassed by Astrokeado. I say make this a 6-6 so it's at least more aggro. Zombie's Best Friend. I had a cool idea for this one, just change the effect so that it creates a zombie for every zombie next door. So best case scenario you can create 2 more zombies and flood the entire field. All-Star Zombie. Just kind of an overpriced beat stick. I'll just take Tempembeer's idea again and make it a 4 cost 4-4. It would still be a bit stick, but at least you'd be able to get it out earlier, I guess. Bananasaurus Rex. Personally I think this card is fair enough, but if we're going to incorporate the half banana change I mentioned before, this definitely needs a nerf, so I think this should be a 2-3, simple enough. Dark Matter Dragon Fruit. Yeah, so for this card I'd like 2 nerfs. First, make the HP 4, since this card already has enough protection with the trick cost increase, and it being an amphibious card. After that, make the trick cost increase 5 instead of 6, so that the zombie hero still has a chance to remove it before the plant hero can play a second one. Astrobera, just something small for this one. Make the max HP increase 10 still, but make the HP this actually heals only 8. This way you can still get the max HP, but you get a bit less HP. Battlecruiser, for this one I had a neat idea, make it a 4 cost 4-3, but remove Gravestone and make it also give untrickable for 1 turn. Click Piece, yet again I'm taking Tempembeer's idea and making it start as a 0-1, because I also hate facing this card and I totally don't abuse it and put it in most of my Mega Grow decks. Go Nuts! Honestly, this should just buff both attack and HP so that it can actually be a threat, but to compensate maybe make it a 1-1 as a start. Mayflower, I may or may not buff this card. No, for real, let's put it to the wheel. Alright, no boof. Screw you, crappy. Yoli Holy, good effects, but bad stats. At least give it 3 HP. Simple enough. Easy. And finally, Introing Guard. I'd say you make this a 1-3 to be honest. This way you might actually get a nice amount of cards out of this. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I plan on making something else PVC related in like a month. And I might release another different video in between. Speaking of which, I uploaded a video like a week ago, which since it wasn't PVC Heroes you may not have seen it, but if you've got time I'd appreciate it if you could watch it. Anyways, aside from that, thank you for watching and see you next time.